Maybe I should wear the sunglasses. Maybe it's a part of my look. Neon Genesis Evangelion is my favorite series ever. No other show, movie, book, video game has made me feel the emotions that Neon Genesis Evangelion has. I'm gonna just call it Evangelion throughout the rest of this review, but I felt like I should say the full title in the beginning of the video. Where do I begin? Evangelion is an anime, and, you know, I watch anime, kill me, but it's more than just an anime, and I feel like a lot of people have a bad taste in their mouth when it comes to anime. There's a preconceived notion that anime fans are weird, and that anime is weird, perverted, over the top, goofy, extreme, whatever. And I want to tell you that most of the time that's not the case. Some of the best media ever made, I think, is anime. If you want some good examples, Akira, Perfect Blue, any Studio Ghibli film, it's proof that anime is more than the stereotypes that people give it. And if you want to watch a really good show, I think you should give Evangelion a chance. Evangelion seems like a simple show on the surface, but really it has hidden meanings and layers on top of layers of subtext that make the show infinitely rewatchable. I really think that you should give it a chance, and this is my video on it and why I think you should watch it. Evangelion is a show about a 14-year-old boy named Shinji Ikari who wants to reunite with his father. However, once reunited with his father, he finds out that his dad works for this shady underground organization called NERV, and they build giant robots to defeat these giant monsters called angels. Now, the more and more you learn about the Evangelion, which is the robot that Shinji rides, and the angels, you find out that there's, you know, conspiracies within the show and hidden meanings behind all of the plots and stuff like that. Another thing I really like about the show is that all of the characters are morally gray or have problems and flaws that make them more human. Some characters are really closed off, some characters have parental issues, some characters, you know, have trouble controlling their emotions. There's lots of that in this show, so I mean, if you like realistic characters, and I use realistic with quotes, I think that I would recommend Evangelion. And once you're done with the show, you should watch the movie called End of Evangelion. The original series ran out of budget towards the end, so they gave it a half-assed ending, and so to make up for that, they released a movie after. If you want to watch it and you don't know where to, it's on Netflix. If you don't have Netflix, I don't know where else you can watch it. Maybe it's on Hulu or Crunchyroll or something like that, I don't care. The show starts off as a Monster of the Week show, which is usually like a Power Rangers kind of Ninja Turtles show where they have to fight the jerk of the day, who is causing havoc, and they have to defeat the enemy by the end of the episode. That's like the first 13 or 14 episodes. Once you get closer to the end of the series, things get crazy. All the conspiracies come out, all the crazy emotional stuff comes out. It becomes too real for a show about giant robots. The show is layered with religious symbolism, which there's many videos on YouTube going into if you're interested in that. I'll link some down below. There's so much symbolism and subplots and stuff like that that make the show unique. Now, not every episode is perfect. There's a magma diver and Jet Alone, they're not the best episodes, but they do have their moments, and I think that, you know, that's very cool. Now let's discuss something that no one talks about, the designs of the robots. They're freaking cool looking. I ordered a model kit of the main robot, Unit 1, not that long ago. Me and my girlfriend are going to build it together. Maybe I'll make a video on that. If you haven't seen the show, you're gonna have trouble keeping up with this video because I'm gonna use terminology that has been discussed in the show. So hopefully you can keep up if you haven't seen the show. I hope you click off of this video if you haven't seen the show. Anyway, let's discuss the characters. Shinji Ikari is a depressed 14-year-old who is forced against his will to fight giant monsters in a giant robot. He only does it so that he can get praise from his father. He is lonely. He runs away half the time. He doesn't want to be involved. He hates everyone. He is realistic. If you were a 14-year-old forced into a giant robot, realistically you'd be crying as much as he does. Rei. Rei is like Shinji's mom, clone of Shinji's mom. She's a clone of Shinji's mom, and she is another one of the Evangelion pilots. Asuka is this German girl who is super bratty. She has mother issues. She does it for praise of others, but she wants to pilot the Eva, unlike Shinji, who only does it to get praise from others. She wants to be the best pilot. She has a big ego. She is erratic, crazy, but realistic nonetheless. She's, from a Japanese standpoint, she is the Western girl who is more quirky and outrageous. Masato is Shinji's caretaker slash adoptive parental unit. She basically takes care of Shinji and makes sure that and there she is, makes sure that, you know, he stays sane, because the pilot's mental emotions and mental state affects the performance of the robot, because the robots have the souls of their mothers in them, or something like that. What do I talk about? Anyway. Alright, oh yeah, this is a video about why I like Evangelion. So, ignore my squeaky chair. Is it dark? Is it bright enough? I'm afraid. But the sun's going down now, so. Oh, 1 second. Alright, I got lighting now. That looks good, actually. Alright, so this is, I kind of forgot where this video is heading, but this is a video about why I like Evangelion. And I'm just telling the story, you know, and I feel like that's not what I should be doing. So, Evangelion is like, I don't know, it's this massive thing. There's so many themes going on. There's themes of religion, motherhood, fatherhood, teenage angst. There's so many different themes going on, and those themes are what make the show. And there's little hidden details, like the show takes place after a big apocalypse. There's this one time where two of the characters are talking about how Shinji is kind of like a porcupine, or a hedgehog, and Masato, which is like his caregiver, is like, a porcupine, like one of those spiny things, and it's like, does she not know what a porcupine is? And then I realized, wait, sorry, hedgehog. And it's like, does she not know what a hedgehog is? And it's like, no, it's because it's the apocalypse and hedgehogs probably don't exist anymore. Who knows? So, yeah, I used to call them edgehogs when I was a kid. Let's see. Yeah, no, there's subplots that just really, take the cake. The end of Evangelion, which is a movie that takes place after the show, is flawless. One of the best movies based on a show ever. If you've seen Breaking Bad, the end of Evangelion is like the El Camino of Evangelion, but better. The end of Evangelion is like a play. There's literally a part in the middle, like I forgot what they're called. There's a break in the middle where you can go do whatever, but the end of Evangelion is a mind-blowing, spectacular movie. And that brings me to my next topic, which is the end of the show. The end of the last two episodes of the show were rushed and honestly kind of half-assed. I don't hate them by any means, but it's just trippy reuse of footage, and then they ran out of animation budget, so they had to do some of the frames with crayon. I'm not making this up. So, but the story is so good that you wouldn't know that they did it with markers, Crayola markers. The plot lends itself for your mind to think outside of the scape of animation, and I think that really lends itself to the story, because there's scenes that seem really weird and trippy and kind of off character or off key, and it's scenes where the camera or whatever takes place inside of the character's head, and I don't think I've ever seen a show that's done that before. I've seen shows where there's the character's monologues and thoughts throughout the series, like Patrick Bateman in American Psycho, but I've never seen a show that has scenes that take place within the head of a character, and I think that's very unique. Alright, the show also has a penguin in it. Now let's talk about merch. I got the t-shirts, I got the books, I got the DVDs, I got a Switch case, I got the Ray plush, I got Tamagotchi. Hold on, let me grab it. I got an Evangelion Tamagotchi, dude. The soundtrack. The soundtrack is impeccable. Some of the songs are just outlandish and bombastic, and some of the songs are very sad and somber, and they really make you feel something. I've never had a show that I constantly come back to the soundtrack of. I put some of the Evangelion soundtrack songs into my playlists, and every time I listen to the playlist, when one of those comes on, it gives me a feeling, I've never watched a show that gives me feelings when I listen to the music from the show. And soundtracks are my favorite thing to collect. I actually have the soundtrack on DVD right here. Or CD, sorry. The soundtrack is impeccable, and I love collecting soundtracks, but out of all my soundtracks, this is my most recent that I got, and it's the one that I'm really happy about owning, you know. I mean, it's just really cool, and when I got it, my girlfriend bought it for me, came with this cool little thing on the side, which I know only like Japanese albums and stuff do, so that made me very happy. It's crazy how a show from the 90s is still talked about today. I don't think there's a American equivalent to Evangelion. I think every show and movie that we have here combined, there's nothing like this, and there's just a weird feeling to it, there's a weird aura to it, and I feel like Western shows don't capture that, they don't emulate it. And you know, as much as I think that it'd be really cool to maybe make a live action version, if there was a live action version, I would watch it immediately. I'd probably hate it, but if there was anyone to direct a live action version, I hope it would be me. But like, I don't know, I feel like nothing in America is like Evangelion. I'm not saying there's nothing that's in America that's better than Evangelion, but there's nothing that's like it, you know, and that's the one thing that I think that anime does that American shows don't. And I don't know, I feel like Evangelion's a well-balanced show. It balances the characters and the plot, and a lot of you know, Western shows are either character-driven or plot-driven, and I feel like that's, you know, one-sided. And you know, as much as I like Italian filmmaking, where the whole show or movie revolves around the character building, I think Evangelion is well-rounded, well-balanced. It has lore to it. Some of the lore is just in it. It's not explained to you, but you know what it means just by watching. And that's what I like about it. You know, there's stuff called LCL. There's Bakelite Nerve, the Zele Institute, Zele, the Marduk Institute. There's angels. There's Adam, Lilith, the first angels. There's all this terminology that's thrown at you, and just from watching the show, and you get the context of what's happening without actually needing to look it up or learn it. Now, yeah, some of the stuff is not explained at all, and you know, it takes a little bit of discovery to figure out what it means, but for the most part, you know, you just learn as it goes, you know. And it's definitely no kids show. Yeah, some of the episodes are more cartoonish, Ninja Turtle-y shows, but it is more adult. There's adult themes in it. There is, you know, characters that are, you know, morally gray. The good guys do bad things, the bad guys do good things. And that's what I really like about it, you know. No other show I've watched has really done something like that other than Breaking Bad. But Breaking Bad does it in a different way that I like. It's different. But yeah, I recommend Evangelion. Netflix dub. The show, if you want to watch it, it's on Netflix, and I highly recommend you watch it. Be warned, if you're, it doesn't matter if it's your first time watching it, but there's debate in the community about the Netflix English dub and the Japanese, or the original English dub. I prefer the Netflix dub. The original English dub, no offense to anyone working on it, but it's a little goofy. Watch it.
Me to the Let me see firstling is Blackball, Jupiter and Mars. In other words, all of my